And welcome to, well, not the final day of Mama and Cat spoilers, the second to last day before the full set gets revealed. We have, like, I think, 128 of the 199 cards that are going to be in the set spoiled. And we got a cool mythic Chimera. We got the final hour, the Hour of Devastation. We got another Aftermath card. And we got a bunch of other cards that got spoiled today. So, let's start off with the mythic Majestic Myriarch, which was a preview from the Magic show with Evan Irwin and his crew. So it was a cool preview they gave us on that. Majestic Myriarch is a 1 green, 4 of any color, mythic Chimera. Star is his power and toughness. Now, Majestic Myriarch's power and toughness are equal to twice the number of creatures you control. So at minimum, this thing is a 2/2. At the beginning of each combat, if you control a creature with flying, Majestic Myriarch gains flying until the end of the turn. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. Now, a lot of people are comparing this to Uldric, I believe it was, the white card that has a similar ability. Uldric is a little better. People are saying Uldric is a little better. I believe Uldric is a legendary, but it's also automatically a 2/2, and it costs at least 1 less. I think it costs like 2 less, honestly. So from a price-wise, like casting cost, it's better. But a few things this has over Uldric. One, it'll automatically become bigger. It's already the same stats of Uldric, granted at 3 more extra mana, or 2 extra mana. But it can immediately, because especially if you're in a green deck, it's immediately going to become bigger than what you already got going on. So if you just have 2 creatures on the field, it's already a 4/4 for 5. So it's already bigger than Uldric. It does cost more, but you get that at a reasonable rate. You only have to have 3 creatures on the field for this thing to be worth the amount of money you're playing. You're basically playing a 6/6 for 5 at that point. As for its second ability, I will admit, while it sounds cool, it's a little misleading. Because you need to have creatures on the field for that. If you don't have creatures on the field with said abilities, this thing is nothing more than a giant vanilla creature that will get bigger. Now, granted, that is pretty cool. And by the way, the art is gorgeous on this. If you want to find the card, it's going to be the one I use for the thumbnail. The art's good. He's got these translucent, like, ethereal wings. It's great looking. But no, yeah, call it as it is. It's not necessarily as good as it's good. Especially for like commander games, this thing's going to be great. And if I ever get that secondary god deck going with the Yama and Ket gods, this thing will go in because all those guys have abilities to them. Locust God has flying. Hazoret has haste. Ronas has death touch, I believe. Yeah, Ronas has death touch. Does this one go with double strikers? Yep. Oketra has double strike. Bantu has... Oh, crap. What did Bantu have? I can't remember what Bantu had. But, and Kefnet has flying. So, entirely possible. I could use these guys. Absolutely. Maybe I won't use Kefnet. Because Kefnet's honestly the hardest one to warrant using. The rest of them are actually fairly competent. But Kefnet's... I have to keep a perpetual 7 cards in my hand. That's just so stupid. Anyway, but so no, I really do like this card. If I got it in the pre-release, would I play with it? Depends on 2 things. One, still if I am with a giant, but if I'm in the singles, well, it depends on how many creatures I got in the deck. But it's still a cool card regardless. Leave chance or leave to chance. Leave is 1 white, 1 of any color. Instant, rare, return any number of target permanents to your own hand. It's kind of a save bounce spell. Aftermath, chance, 1 red, 3 of any color. Discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. Look, I get it. If your thing's gonna die, it's maybe not like you got a couple 1 drops that did, or 1 or 2 drops that had their purpose already and now they're gone. I get it, but I don't see the appeal of this. For the first part I can see because it saves your stuff. The second part, I guess, but there are abilities that do the exact same thing or cards that do the exact same ability for much, much cheaper. So, it just doesn't seem worth it. It really doesn't. But maybe just me. I just can't get into these Aftermath cards. I really can't. Abandoned Sarcophagus, or Abandoned Sarcophagus. Although long since dead, the banished dissenters finally seek their vengeance. 3 of any color artifact. You may cast non-land cards with cycling from your graveyard. If a card with cycling would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, and it wasn't cycled, exile that card instead. So it's flashback, not even flashback. Well, no, it's kind of flashback for their mana cost. For the cycling cards, you simply just can't cycle from your graveyard because that involves discarding. It seriously makes the cycling deck a lot more viable in some sense, because you're going to cycle something for its lower cost, but if you got the money to play it again, you will play it again and get that actual effect. So I can see a deck being made with it. I just don't see a lot coming from it because I'm not big on. I've used a couple cycling cards, not to say I don't, but I can't say I'm big on the cycling thing. And final hour, the hour of devastation. Lo and behold, it's probably the most ruthless hour of them all. So hour of devastation is 2 red, 3 of any color, sorcery rare. Nickel Boss, everything exists or perish at my whim, including you, Gatewatch. I'm sounding like Optimus Prime. Including you, Gatewatch. Now let's roll out evil Gatewatch, which he doesn't have. Let's roll out my Eternals. All creatures lose indestructible, so Gideon's screwed, until the end of turn. Hour devastation deals 5 damage to each creature and each non-Bolas planeswalker. So, yeah, this card just says, you know what, unless you're big enough to take me on, so unless you basically got a butt of 6 or greater, which I believe Oketra and Bantu both do, they're the only ones who happen to, I'm going to wipe all of your asses out, because I'm Nico Motherfucking Bolas. This card's great. This card's fantastic. It's well priced for what it does, certainly. Especially the fact that it makes the creatures lose indestructible is the real kicker of it. If it just did 5 damage around the board to everything, it'd still be really, really good. The indestructible creatures would just make it out alive. But because it does get rid of the indestructible, that means the gods are screwed, minus the ones that have, again, big enough butts to survive, like Bantu and Oketra. I'm trying to remember if the Locust Gods, because I know Scorpion God and Locust God are both too weak to survive that, but it's the Scarab God. No, yeah, the Scarab God's too weak to survive that. Surprisingly, though, Razaketh, who's dead, is not too weak to survive that. He could survive that if he were still alive in the story. Spoilers! Yeah, so... yeah, he's dead, so, yeah, good for that. Next we have just a bunch of commons and uncommons. So we have... As life goes on, 1 green instant spell. Like, a green instant for 1 green. You gain 4 life. If a creature died this turn, you gain 8 life instead. So it's gain 4 life or Morbid, gain 8 life. And given the way this whole set is designed, yeah, it's fine. 8 life for 1 mana? That's pretty okay. See, I feel like people give life gain strategies a bad rap, like a bad vibe. Life gain strategies can definitely, especially, with how about that horse that makes freaking indestructible 5/5s. So yeah, it's definitely not a bad strategy or option. Hey, you puppy. So yeah, life goes on. It's fine. Especially if you get the 8 life for 1 mana, it's really good. Tragic Lesson. 2 of any color, 1 blue, 3 altogether. Instant. Draw 2 cards and discard a card, unless you return a land you control to its owner's hand. Actually, that's really good, because it's saying draw 2 cards and return a land to your hand. If you don't want to draw, you don't want to risk losing the land advantage early on, just wait till you don't play a land during the turn, and then, like, if you play all your lands, and then pop the land, ping it back onto the field. Hell, you got the life gain lands, too. Those still are around, I believe. So, in some capacity. So you pop that, return it, gain another life. There you go. You just drew 2 cards for 3 mana and gained a life. All value. I like this card. I could definitely use this card. Seer the Last Tomorrow is again 1 blue, 2 of any color for a 1/4 Naga Cleric. You may pay blue, then tap this card. Discard a card. Target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into the graveyard. I got cards that do this for a lot easier, so I'm not going to be using it. It's cool for what it is. I mean, it might make someone discard a mill, but with Eternalize and Embalm in these sets, not necessarily the best plan. Survivor's Encampment. Add 1 colorless mana to your land desert. Add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool, which seems to be a pattern with the deserts. Tap this card and then tap an untapped creature you control. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Now, see, this one I can get behind more than the cards that say, hey, you would pay a mana of any color and then tap this card to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. I don't get that unless there's some strategy that works. And I'm certain there are smarter people than me have figured it out, obviously. I'm just not one of those people who can make those cards work because I just don't see I don't see what you're gaining out of that. You're not actually gaining anything unless you need a certain mana at the time. But this one, it's pretty much just saying tap, and then you can actually add 1 mana to your own pool. I can see that being a bit more useful than paying the mana to get a mana. That one makes no sense to me. But this one, you're just tapping this and turning it into a colored mana. So I can actually see this one being viable in certain options. Ronos Stalwart. Pay 1 green, 1 of any color, and a 2/2 for a 2/2 human warrior, so a bear. You may exert this creature as it attacks. When you do, it gets +1/+1, so turns into a 3/3. And until the end of the turn, it can't be blocked by creatures of power 2 or less. And you see this woman just swinging this giant column around, so it's pretty cool. It's a bear with an upside, so therefore it's good. It's automatically good. Play it, you're going to have fun. Strategic Planning. Now, 1 blue, 1 of any color sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand, and the rest in your graveyard. Bolas remade this plan in his image. He has the advantage here. We must approach carefully. Jace Bellerin as he's talking to Gideon. Yeah, good luck with that, Jace. As for the card, it's alright. You'll get your Eternalize and Embalm creatures in the graveyard, or if you're somehow running flashbacks or deliriums or whatever, it'll get your stuff in the graveyard while setting you up for a card in the future. Combine it with Scry, you could see some possibilities there. It's not bad, especially for 2 mana. Manticore Eternal. Now, I actually heard when they were doing the Magic Mike podcast yesterday, and on YouTube, they made a point saying, were some of the Eternals, like afflicted creatures, did the non-human humanoid creatures do the trials? The flavor text here actually explains it on this one. So Manticore Eternal is a 5/4, 2 of red, 3 of any color, Manticore or zombie Manticore. Afflict 3. We all know what it does. If it becomes locked, that would deal 3 damage. It must attack each turn if able. Now, while most Eternals were initiates who completed the trials, Bolas had plans for some of Amonkhet's other denizens. Which means I want to see the zombie crocodile dragon with Afflict, but I know it's probably not going to happen at this rate. Maybe it will. Maybe one of the cards that's going to be spoiled tomorrow with the rest of them is the zombie crocodile dragon Eternal. That would be so sweet. But no, this thing is awesome. It's pretty much, what was it? I want to say it's that Manticore that dealt the 3 damage and put the -1/-1 counter on something. It's basically that turned into this, and it's honestly just far scarier now because it has to attack each turn. So even if it's going to die, it's still either getting 5 damage through or it's getting 3 damage through. Either way, the opponent is losing life. That's what. Again, I spoke about this in the last video last night, but that's what's so disgusting about Simplik. It's not Infect or Annihilator levels of disgust. Or Dredge, which apparently I never play with Dredge, but apparently Dredge is a disgusting, horrible thing. And Delve. Yeah, I'd say it's probably more on the lines of a Delve, because this thing, there's no point. You got to tap this thing down, or you got to pacify it or something with these creatures. You just have to. Otherwise, it's a time clock with these things. Because there's no point not attacking with them, so you're just going to keep attacking and hope for the best. Dutiful Servants. Now, this is just a bigger version of another zombie, but 1 white, 3 of any color, zombie, 2/5. vanilla creature. It's in flavor-wise, the caretakers basically kept doing their duties, regardless of what was going on. Wretched Camel, and it's a big old vanilla thing. It is as good as you're gonna use a giant vanilla thing for. Wretched Camel, 1 black, 1 of any color. Zombie Camel, 2/1. When it dies, if you control a desert or a desert card in your graveyard, target player discards a card. Good in desert deck, just it's a 2/1 that has no upside otherwise, so it's just kind of there. Mummy Paramount, 1 white, 1 of any color, 2/2. So another bear, but zombie. Whenever another zombie enters the battlefield under your control, Mummy Paramount gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. So good for the zombie tribal. At best, though, I don't see this becoming anything more than a 4/4. So unless you got multiple on the field, in which case then you got like an army of 3/3, 4/4s that are going to show up. So that's kind of cool. But I don't know. I already have this blue-black zombie deck, which I feel like is the better color combination for zombies anyway. Though they definitely did well in moving the zombies into white. I will say that. I don't ever really see me making a white-black zombie deck or a white-blue zombie deck. I don't see any of that happening anytime soon. And zombies now exist in all colors. They do. Actually, I'm trying to think of that. Zombies exist in all colors. I know spirits exist in all colors. Angels exist in all colors. Dragons exist in all colors. Hydras do not. Hydras only exist right now in the red and the green. Sphinxes also only exist in white, blue, and black, I believe. Though is there a green one somewhere? I don't think there's a green one. There's not a red one. Minotaurs also only exist in black, red, and white as far as I know. No, there's some in green, but there's none in blue. And vampires exist in white, and there's going to be some off-colors. A little spoiler for Ixalan, there will be some off-color vampires in Ixalan. But they exist in white, they exist in black, they exist in red, but they don't exist in blue. Oh no, there are some Grixis vampires. So the only ones they don't exist in, as far as I know, are green, which makes some sense. But anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on the spoilers for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Well, I might be back tomorrow. I might just be busy with work and have other things to do. So maybe I won't get to tomorrow, but if I don't get to it tomorrow, I'll get to it Saturday. Point being, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Oh man, I got hiccups all of a sudden. That's me doing this, puppy. It's me doing that. She just suddenly heard me beating my chest. If you have an idea for who wins Star Wars, superhero, what if, Dragon Ball Z, anything I do in the channel, put in the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to it at some point. So I'll be back in a little bit with what if. The who would win will be up a little later, but I will get to those. So thanks for watching.